Here's a crazy idea. Director Wes Anderson is a modern-day Jean Renoir. Elaboration time! Words cannot describe how it feels to experience the vision of such an instant classic, such a masterpiece, such a modern-day realistic fairy tales as the Wes Anderson's Moonrise Kingdom. Of course, I'll try my best, since, you know, I'm a film critic and all that. This is a film that really works so well because of how perfect the casting is. I mean, every single actor in this piece gives his or her absolute best in their respective performances. And the best part is, their acting feels really honest and sincere. Not the classic American filmmaking Hollywood kind of honest and sincere, which means it's not over-emotional and it's not emotionally distant. It is subtle at points, and it comes across as a really honest performance. The kind of honest performance that reminds me of Jean Renoir's films and their truth of the actor method of recitation. Forgive the finger quotes, I think it's kind of they're stuck. So anyway, we have Bruce Willis playing the role of a police officer, which is a really sad and depressed police officer that comes across not as pathetic as you might think, and not as dastardly as you might think. He comes across as a genuine middle way encounter between the two things. It comes across as a believable person that could be living next to me, so to speak. But so is almost everyone else. And this Edward Norton as this Boy Scout leader, khaki Scout leader, is also a perfect role for him. And he has a full-fledged story arc of his own. He comes across as a really weak person that his only security in life is in his role as a Boy Scout leader, but that security gets crushed by all the happenings and events of this film. He comes across as an believable person because of how subtle all the acting is. It is not overplayed or even underplayed. It is played in a very realistic fashion, and it's especially in this subtle and realistic acting that is stable in Wes Anderson's actors for his films. Really is actually, ironically enough, empowered by how fake the setting of the set of the film looks, how purposely fake the set of the film looks. It's pointing out the fact that this film is basically a fairy tale, a fable with an uplifting fable with a happy ending and all that. But this fable is made realistic and believable because of how all the actors acts out their characters in this truth of the performance method of Jean Renoir's films that you should really check out. Yeah, look up Jean Renoir. You might find the most fantastic and unusual things from French cinema you might have ever seen. But returning to the point, this film works because the characters work, and the characters work because they are put in a set, an obviously fake set that points out in a subtly meta-textual way that this is a film and therefore just a fable, a fairy tale, and creates a brilliant parallel with what the characters are going through in their lives. They are trapped in their own misery and troubles, but they never come across as either excessively over-emotional, or just or utterly depressed, or they come out as believable people that deal with their problems in their own way. They eventually find a solution because they all have their arcs. They find a solution, a resolution to their trouble, because they earn it, and it feels that they earn it because, again, how truthful their performances are. And what especially works in this film, what especially stands out, are the two main characters, the two kid actors that not only are two of the best kid actors that I've ever seen in any film in all of my entire life and career as a film critic, their romance, because it is a love story, kind of a love story. Again, it's a modern fairy tale with a happy ending. Really works because really functions because of how subtle they manage to act their personal roles. There is never a moment that the film tries to manipulate our emotions with unnecessarily over-the-top emotional moments, and there is never a moment when the actors feel distant. They are in it. They are acting their heart out in this film, but they are doing it in a subtle fashion that makes them absolutely amiable. And, simply put, impeccable in their respective roles. Pillar stone of the film, and they take most screen time, they are the true main characters, are helped out by the rest of the fantastic, perfect cast. We had Frances McDormand and Bill Murray in the role of this old couple trapped in a lifeless and unhappy marriage. They are the parents of the main heroine. They are trapped in this lifeless marriage, but they stick together despite he being a self-pity, depressed hack, and she being unfaithful to him with the Bruce Willis police officer. They stay together because they think of their kids, because they believe, and they are right, they believe their kids need them, despite their lack of chemistry. And really, that's kind of the story of this film. Really good characters, acted out by really good actors, directed by a really good director, and we have a modern-day realistic fairy tale that really captures our minds and our heart because of how really truthful everything about these characters feels like, despite the obvious fictitious nature of the set and the cinematography, the really good cinematography that points out the fictitious nature of the film at almost every corner. And in essence, that's almost something that Wes Anderson seems to be inspired from genre noir. The subtle meta-textual element that points out with its very cinematography and sets the fictitious nature of the movie itself, and the realistic truth of the actor performances that really give this film this dimension. This is its own dimension as it digests. And as much as I hate to admit it, this kind of performances, this kind of recitation is something that live-action films can still show off to animation, because you see, the medium of animation relies on expressivity and motions to convey emotions, but this kind of acting, this really truth of the actor, style of acting that we know since Jean Renoir's filmography. It's something that it's possible only if the actors are there on the set with their flesh, bones, heart, voice, all of them. And it's something that cannot be reproduced, fully reproduced, in an animated context. Again, I hate to admit it because I still consider animation the greatest form, the superior form of art in cinema's history. But even I have to admit, this is a limitation that animation is not able to grasp yet. Maybe motion capture will, but not animation is able to grasp yet from the live in flesh performance of an individual in a film set under the right director. So, Moonrise Kingdom, everyone. It's a film that deserves to be seen by as many people as possible. It's a realistic, it's an uplifting fairy tale that feels believable and realistic for all these reasons. And it never feels manipulative or emotionally grasping. It feels genuine, and as such, it's genuinely good and compelling. So, Moonrise Kingdom again. Go watch it if you haven't yet. It's really good. Bye.
On s'en souvient, on s'en souvient, on s'en souvient, on s'en souvient.
I'll be out back. I'm going to find a tree to chop down.